Welcome and karibuni to Aroma of Zanzibar. Today I'm going to share with you how I'm making this beautiful classic French apple tart. And I have done this video before about maybe 3 years ago when I had my channel under my name, and I cannot use the channel anymore. Now I'm using Aroma of Zanzibar, so I've been getting requests to make this tart again. And so since the fall is here, the holidays, and it's a perfect dessert for the holidays. Okay, so I've got my flour here, and I had my butter in small cubes like this, and some sugar and a little salt, and they were in this bowl together with my pedal attachment. This was in the fridge for about 20 minutes. And yeah, it's very important to have your ingredients cold when you're making pie crust, whatever you're making, if it's a tart or a pie. If you want to have it really, really nice and flaky, you have to have your ingredients cold, okay? So, and over here, I have an egg and some ice cold water that I'm gonna mix it together, and then I'll add it to my flour. Fine. I was looking for, this kind of crumbs. Okay. So now I'm gonna okay, so I've got my saran paper wrap here, and you're just gonna make it into a disc and cover it, wrap it up nicely, and that's it. So you're gonna put this in the fridge for about 30 minutes, or you can put it in the freezer for 10 minutes, okay? And then we're gonna start working with our apples for the filling. Okay, now for the filling, I've got some Granny Smith apples here. You could use whatever apples you like, but I like to use these. And for the top, I like to use the gala apple. And I've got lemon here for my zest, some brown sugar, and apple juice, and some cinnamon powder. So I'm going to go ahead and peel my apples and slice them into chunks. Okay, so I've got my apples here, and I'm going to bring this to a boil. And once I bring it to a boil, I'm going to cover it and let it simmer until all the liquid is absorbed. Okay, so adding the sugar and some cinnamon powder. Okay, then I'm going to put the lemon zest as well. There's nothing much to be done on this. You just have to bring it to a boil and let the apples cook till they become soft. Okay, so these are done. And before you get to this stage, make sure you taste the apples, because sometimes they're not as sweet, so you may want to add some more sugar. I added a little vanilla to it, and I'm just lightly mashing these up with a fork. I really don't want them so, like a sauce. I want to have some kind of texture. All right, now I'm ready to roll out my dough, the pastry for the shell. And you could use a 9-inch or 8-inch pie mold, but today I want to use these, so I've got 3 of these. These are about I think about 4-inch round, and yeah, so I'm going to divide my dough into three portions. This is cold, so Okay, you don't want it too thin. And okay, so this is a bit too thin, but it's okay. Just remove the extra flour. And these I have sprayed some vegetable oil, okay, and you always want to rest your dough, your pastry dough, in the fridge for at least 30 to 60 minutes, so that way when you bake, it does, your shells, you know, they don't shrink, okay. And you know, if it breaks, it's okay, you can always patch it, you know. All right, and then make some holes here so when we bake, the air will escape. And I'm going to put this in the fridge too while I work on the others, and then I'll get back to you. I'm actually putting it in the freezer. I think that's much better. So my shells are they're ready to go in the oven, and I've got 3 of these and 2 little bitty ones. So I'm gonna put the beans on the top so I can blind bake these. So I'm using it's not actually a parchment paper. You can use a parchment paper, or you can use you know, the saran wrap, but it has to be really, really good one so that it doesn't melt. Okay, this is to be able to hold the shape of our pies, I mean tart shells. I use these beans and reuse them, so just keep them in a bag. And okay, so these are gonna bake at 400 for about we'll do 20 minutes today. Okay, now while my tarts are baking, I'm going to cut the apples, I mean slice. And today for this, I mean, you could use the same green apples, but I like to use the red ones, and I'm not gonna peel them, so you'll see the effect of I'm doing a rosette. Okay, so okay, this is what I want to do. Okay, and remove the core. This is how you want to remove the core. I'm sorry, my camera is at the other angle, but you want to keep it like this. And okay, so you get the whole thing out. Okay, I hope you're getting to see that. And you don't have to do this, but it's easier. All right, and then the slices, I'm not going to make them too thin. I'm going to make them a little bit, this is too big. Maybe like this, okay, because I want them to hold the shape. And the little ones, the ones that I'm going to use in the middle, those ones I'll make them a little bit thinner, so they're going to be like this. Okay, all right, so I'm going to slice my apples, and then I will get back to you. Okay, so I've got about 3 tablespoons of butter here that I'm going to let it melt while I'm still cutting my apples, slicing my apples. Okay, then I'm going to add some sugar here. It's about half a cup. It also depends on you know, how sweet your apples are. And We want this a little bit. Then I'm gonna add some cinnamon to this. Oops. Okay. And I'm gonna add my apples here. And I'm not really gonna cook these completely. You know, I'm just gonna get them coated with sugar, kind of caramelizing it a bit, and also like the slices that I have them thin, those ones will soften up. Okay. Now if, oh yeah, I've already said about the sugar. You may want to add more sugar, or you may want to add some lemon here. Okay. Now these are ready. As you can see, there is so much liquid. This is from the apples. I mean, if you want, you can cook it further, but then it depends what you're looking for in your tart. I don't want my apples to be really, really mushy, so I'm just gonna stop here. Okay, right? So my shells are ready, and we're gonna remove this. And then we're gonna let them cool, and we'll be ready to fill them up. All right, so now I'm ready for my last, almost final touch. So here's our apple compote, and I just want to spread it evenly. Okay, so I finished all of them, and my apples, I've put them in a strainer, so you know I could remove the extra liquid. And I'm gonna start from the side of the edge. And now you see why I didn't want to peel my apples, because I wanted that red color for the you don't have to do this design, but I like this design, and it makes it really, really beautiful and presentable, you know. So I'm just gonna do to overlap them, and the spacing you can do as much, I mean, as close as you want it to be. And the good thing about the apple tart, you can serve it warm or you can serve it cold. I mean, that's as far as I'm concerned. And this is gonna look really, really beautiful. And then I'm gonna do these like this and like that. We're gonna put it in the middle. Then we're gonna add some more on the sides. And I have a little bitty one here that can still go there. Okay, so these are ready, and they look absolutely beautiful. And my hands are sticky. So these are going to go in the oven at 350 for about 15 minutes. Here we are. My tarts are beautiful, and I'm gonna make them extra beautiful. So over here, this is apricot jam, which I have warmed up in the microwave for about 1 minute, and then I added some honey to it. You can add lemon juice to it to thin it out if you want to. So this is a glaze that's gonna make add extra what do I say? Extra flavor. These are cinnamon powder. Okay, this step is not necessary, but if you want to, if you don't want, it's okay. So we're just gonna dust some powdered sugar. So much I'm going to enjoy this. I'm just gonna let them cool. And for more recipes, please visit me at Aroma of Zanzibar.